You are listening to episode 88 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John, and this week, filling in for Ryan is going to be none other than Jason of Corpse Flood Gaming. Jason, how you doing, man?
Not bad. How are you?
Doing good, dude. So, unfortunately, Ryan had some sort of family emergency happen, and we had to get somebody to fill in, and I appreciate you filling in at the last second here, man. I mean, like 5 hours ago I messaged you about this?
Yeah, no problem. I'm happy to come in for the clutch.
Yeah, for sure, dude. So, Ryan obviously does his little intro here, and figured it'd be good to, have somebody else take a stab at it. So you want to go ahead and tell the people that are listening what we do on this podcast?
Absolutely. Here at the Game Deflators, we talk about games where we've recently fucked up.
All right, I'll take it, man. Right. So we talk about games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and today we fight off an alien invasion of the year 2636 for this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
Absolutely.
I think that's pretty close, right? I mean, Ryan does a better job than I do. Yeah,
well, I didn't get a practice run. I probably should have practiced in the bathroom mirror or something before I started. But,
yeah, definitely. You want to give it another shot? I mean, you could do it right now. Make Ryan proud.
Games we've recently picked up, games we're currently playing, and today we fight off an alien invasion in this week's Inflation Deflation Challenge.
I think that works. I might have to cut out the audio and put that in instead.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. Yeah, for sure. Okay, so, dude, obviously you're of Corpse Flood Gaming, but you work on a lot of other projects as well. So why don't you tell our listeners some of the other stuff that you're doing, man? Other podcasts, other creators that you're working with.
Absolutely. I do the Game Tenants podcast with our friend Church of the Game Grinder, and you'll find that on his channel as well as all podcast apps. Also check out his channel in general. It's pretty awesome. And I also do on my own channel a podcast called the Super Enabler Bros Show with my friend Chris, the old ass retro gamer. And it's primarily game related podcast, but we talk about some other hobbies we have. Comics, action figures, movies. Nothing's really off limits. We just started having guests on there. So yeah, we take anything. We're probably not going to talk about sports collectibles or anything because that stuff is lame. But just about anything else is good to go. Besides that, you just podcasting like crazy. It seems
for sure, man. Well, and we were on your podcast probably 2-3 weeks ago, I think, with the Game Tenants.
Yeah, it was about a month ago now, I guess.
God, man.
We rested on our laurels of that one because it was so good. We apparently just decided to take a month off. A lot of stuff going on, but we recently recorded our follow-up episode, so that's out now if you want to check it out. It's episode 98, I believe.
Nice.
Coming up on 100 quick, so as long as we can keep to our bi-weekly schedule, we should be by the end of the month.
I was wondering for a while, like Ryan and I would see like your numbers for Game Tenants and then ours. I'm like, we're catching up to him pretty quick, but that makes sense if you guys like are doing bi-weekly and occasionally take a few weeks off type of thing.
Yeah, we've been pretty good. This is the first time we've had a kind of a lapse in episodes. We've been pretty consistent keeping to the every 2 weeks, but that's kind of why I decided to do the Super Enabler Bros show also, because it's kind of like an alternating week. So each week I've got a podcast, but lately I've been doing a lot of podcasts. I just recently did the Cartridge Club Game of the Month podcast for the second month in a row.
Oh wow.
So including this right now, it'll be like 4 podcasts in a week.
Jeez, man.
4 different ones. So a lot of fun.
Yeah,
love talking games, so
I know, man. Same here, dude. We've been on with you guys. Obviously, we had Sega Saturn Shiro on our podcast over a month ago, actually. And on top of that, we did Grief Burrito, which a couple guys out of the UK, which are pretty awesome. And then we did the Next to Nothing podcast as well. So, dude, we're like right with you. It's been like podcast after podcast. Like I was telling Ryan, we need a break from jumping on other episodes.
Yeah, I don't want to get burned out. I might we're not going to take any. I'm not going to take any more hiatuses with either of mine. But yeah, I'm going to try and scale it back a little bit. My wife's pretty cool with me doing them, but lately she's like, damn, another podcast. She's like, "Oh, we're gonna hang out tonight." Just kind of said I'd do this podcast.
So what I try to do is like strategically play around with the dates, and so she's not working on Sunday and Monday, so I record on Saturdays now. Hence,
Perfect.
when I was like, "Hey, let's do something on the 25th," because it made sense. And she has Critical Role that she watches on Thursdays, so now I have Thursdays open if I ever need to do a podcast episode with somebody. So it's working. It's kind of going through, man. All right, so dude. Obviously, on the Game Deflators podcast, we like to talk about games that we recently picked up. And let's start with you, man. Do you have any new pickups this week?
Oh yeah, actually, kind of a lot. Not exactly all ones I've received. They came in the mail, but for those who don't know, I live on the Canadian-American border, and I hate Canada Post because the postage is so much more than the States that I just get everything from Amazon.com and ship it to a PO box. And right now with COVID, the borders are all but shut down. And for a little while I had a solution of getting my mail, but they've cracked down a little bit more lately. So I got some stuff in limbo, but as far as stuff I actually picked up, Last of Us 2, bought that on launch. And SpongeBob SquarePants Battle for Bikini Bottom Rehydrated.
All right, get off the podcast. You can't be on here anymore.
my kids are huge SpongeBob fans, and I remember playing that game back in the day. It was okay. I think my younger brother had it, and I was like, you know what, the kids will love this. And the TV setup in the living room has been very beneficial to me being able to play more games than I was becoming used to. So they play SpongeBob while I played The Last of Us 2, and it was a really weird side-by-side thing because they sometimes need help because they're pretty young. Oh, Dad, make this jump. Oh, grab these socks off the top of this thing. I'm like, okay, just as soon as I finish splitting this guy's head in half. And so that was pretty cool. I also picked up the Mortal Kombat 11 and Aftermath combo collection.
Mm-hmm.
And loving the hell out of that. Besides that, stuff I picked up, but not physically, I got all three of the Psycho Shooting Stars collections for the Switch. Just decided to buy them all at once. I bought Knights of Azure 2. I picked up even though I've already beaten it, right after it came out, I bought the Death Stranding Collector's Edition for $70 today, so couldn't pass that up.
Is that on Amazon?
Yeah, $70.
Yeah,
Friend, Church sent me the link, and I was like, "What?" Because it went to like the Internet Explorer version on my phone. I was like, "What? It's $130. Big deal." I didn't grab it when it was $100, and then I clicked it. I looked it up on the app, and I was like, "Oh, $70." Well, shit, it looks like I'm grabbing that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a no-brainer, man. Like I think I picked mine up when it was 100. Yeah, or no, 85 I think is what I paid.
It was 100 or something. Yeah, it was about a month ago, right?
Yeah, and I was like, gotta pick it up, man. Like it's collector's edition for $100. Like, come on.
Absolutely, I'm a steelbook slut as a hashtag I started. Steelbook sluts, and it's got a steelbook, so I'm happy with that. And who doesn't need another jar baby? That's pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
Besides that, the only other things I've got waiting for me are Iron Man VR and a game called Mystery Chronicle One-Way Heroics, which was a limited run release, but it's actually affordable. It's the 20th game they put out. And it's just kind of something I just learned about a little while ago, and it's kind of like you have to progress to the right. And if you don't, like the left side of the screen will catch up to you and kill you. So you've got to be strategic with your movements. And I was like, that's a odd mechanic and something that sounds kind of, something new to try. And yeah, I'm looking forward to checking that out. I like to try new things. Besides that, that's about it. What have you picked up lately?
So I've been on an Xbox 360 exclusives binge as of late. So really, anytime I could find an Xbox 360 exclusive, I'm grabbing it. So I don't think I mentioned I don't think I mentioned the last episode, but I picked up Beautiful Katamari finally. I got that one.
Oh, yeah, you did mention that. I just finished listening to it.
Oh, okay. There you go. Correcting me on my own podcast.
You were doing the GameStop 2-for-1s or something like that?
Yeah. I've been doing the GameStop 2-for-1s, and they're complete idiots. Like, you heard on the episode where their system is just not recognizing that I'm getting free games. So I'm like, all right, well, if you're not going to fix it, I'm just going to get free games. So I'm waiting for the next 2-for-1 to happen so I can get it. So Project Sylphid is one I picked up recently. Cool. So yeah, not too bad. Death Smiles was another one that came in. Magna Carta 2, I got that one in. Tenchu Wrath of Heaven, I finally picked that up. Yeah, right. So I just got to I have number 1, but it's scratched to hell and it's not complete. So I want to get a complete copy of that. And I think the other one was like Shadow of Darkness or something. I don't remember. It's another one. It's on the PS2.
If it's just the disc, I think I got an extra Tenchu, first one.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
For PS1, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
PS1.
I got it. I'll have to double check after, but I'm pretty sure I do.
Okay, that'd be sweet.
That up.
Yeah, I got to get it buffed out, but yeah, I mean, it's not bad. Nice. I've got Garfield Kart Racing on the PS4. I was like, you know what? I looked it up online. It's sitting at about $20. It's not really a common game that you would come across, and every time I think of it, I just think Hello Kitty Racers. I'm like, all right, I gotta buy it. Yeah, I like Garfield anyways, so it'll be interesting. And it's got it's got decent reviews, so it's not like it's bad.
Perfect.
Yeah, so I'm like, why not?
How funny would it be if? Oh, sorry, I was gonna say, how funny would it be if Bill Murray voiced him still in like the cheesy game that nobody knows about?
Oh, that'd be awesome, dude. Well, dude, like graphically, it looks pretty good, just from the pictures and videos I've seen. So we'll see. We'll see how it is. It might be one that I play through and just quickly beat. And then I also got Destiny Connect. I think it's called TikTok Travelers, if I'm correct, on the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch. And I actually got the PS4 version at GameStop, and they happened to have it with the plastic wrap and everything. I was absolutely shocked because it was their only copy. And you know how GameStop likes to, say, it's like brand
more
new
rare
and
than
it's
some
open.
of the rare games.
Yeah, right.
A sealed copy at GameStop of anything, even if it's the day it comes out.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. So, so I picked that up. And then in the mail, I've got, what did I pick up recently? Oh, La Mulana 1 and 2. So that was on Amazon for like $44 for PS4. I did see like the Nintendo Switch version out at a Best Buy recently for $60, but I was like, come on, really? Like PS4 versus Switch? Like, I understand, if I were to play it on Switch, I kind of have that flexibility, being able to move where I want and play that. But come on, like, can I really justify spending an extra $15-$20 to just get the same game on a different console?
Exactly. I am a devout believer that Switch tax can screw right off. I always go for PS4 over Switch if I can help it. If I find it somehow cheaper on the Switch, fine. Or if the only copy I can find is on Switch. But if I can get it on PS4, generally I go for that. I'll take the horsepower over the portability any day.
Yeah, exactly. And one other thing I picked up, so I just put in an order on Limited Run Games for the Ys Origin series on Nintendo Switch. So I missed out on the PS4 release when that came out. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up the Switch version when that comes out. I think they said they're shipping it out in, I want to say September or October. Or no, it ends in September. So it won't actually...
Damn, that's a long window. Usually they go like 2-3 weeks, maybe.
Yeah, I got to double check on that. But yeah, I want to say it was a pretty long window because it's not an official limited run game. Mm-hmm. They're just distributing it.
No, that's pretty cool, though.
So it doesn't count towards the collection.
I generally hate the forced limited amounts of stuff, and I like when they do an actual pre-order because then if you miss out on it, it's kind of your fault rather than just, I wasn't quick enough. I couldn't get on it right at the time. I missed out recently on... what was it? Mother Russia Bleeds because I couldn't get on like the second it went online and it sold out immediately because I think they only had 1,000 copies. Mm-hmm. And that was one I was actually really looking forward to. I had kind of a little mini tantrum there. Something when it's brand new and it's already rare, like screw off.
Yeah, I agree, man. Like normally I wouldn't, and I used to slam the whole limited run games thing for a while, but being a physical collector, if I can get my hands on a physical copy like right away, and I've never had an issue with those games and getting what I want within the time frame they provide. Like, I've never had an issue where something's sold out when I want to buy it. Like, obviously, you wake up at like 7 o'clock in the morning for us, at least, to get one of these games, but it's not a bad deal.
Usually I just throw some money at Church and go. He's like the wizard at that stuff, even if it's the collector's edition. He's got it on lockdown, so I just go, okay, just let me know how much, I'm good for it. So that's something whenever we meet up, we have like a gift exchange almost, because he's got all the stuff that came from limited run and some random other stuff. I have some stuff that I got as doubles in my pickups, and we just do. And my wife's like, "You guys are cute." You always do you always have a little gift exchange every time you hang out.
If I was in the Midwest, we could do a 3-way gift exchange.
Yeah, wouldn't that be the best?
Yeah.
We missed out on a convention we always go to in Milwaukee every year, the Midwest Gaming Classic, and we were planning something once this all calms down and I can actually cross the border. But yeah, it's gonna be like Christmas gift exchange by the time that comes to be. So,
well, hopefully, man,
is what it is.
Yeah. So outside of pickups, we'll go into our currently playing. So right now I am currently playing South Park Stick of Truth.
Yeah.
Right, man. So I just finished Alien Ship the other day, and I was going to play it. So my plan was to beat it tonight and then have the podcast tomorrow morning to record and then talk about it. But obviously, that didn't work out. So I ended up just modifying the video, our Game Deflators website and everything, and getting all the search engine optimization, everything running on that. And I was like, all right, cool. Like, I'll put South Park off till tomorrow. Like, now I can play it in the morning instead of recording. So that's pretty cool. Yeah. So totally stoked. I'm enjoying it. I'm going to do the Al Gore side quest now with Man Bear Pig. From what I understand, this game is like super short. So
not super short. It's a decent length. It's just not it's what I guess use quote unquote a respect your time RPG, but it never stops being fun, or there's no grinding to do. It's very story driven and kind of keeps you with it, so it lasts just the right amount of time. And just when you're like, all right, it's starting to get old, all the backtracking, then it's done. You're like, perfect ending. So.
Sweet. That's good to know, man, because I did look up a guide the other day just to see kind of where I was, right? Because I was like, it's a 12-hour RPG roughly, and I was like, with side quests and everything, I could see it being 12 hours. But when I ran through, I'm like, man, I've only played this game for maybe 4 hours total, and it was already you're on part 3 now, because after the alien ship is the next scene or next area, and that's it. You're done apparently. So yeah, I'm gonna do some side quests to try and extend it. I really want to see the whole Al Gore thing play out, and
it's hilarious. Definitely follow it up with the Fractured Butthole. Even better.
I bought that recently, so I'm pretty stoked. Well, not recently, probably in the last 6 months I picked it up, but so this was just kind of on a whim. I was like, I gotta at least check it out. It's been on my shelf for a long time. I'm waiting for Ghost of Tsushima to come out, and I was like, gotta have something to buy to time till next week. So that was it.
That'll definitely do. It's such a fun game. Both of those games I got either day one, or I think Stick of Truth I got it 3 or 4 days after it came out, but someone was already selling it like it was 2 years old. I got it for $10-15, and I was like,
nice,
I'll take that. And I made a friend in the process, so that was cool.
Sweet. The other things I'm playing right now are Yooka-Laylee and the was it a Forgotten Lair, I think, or Forbidden Lair? No, Impossible Lair. Yooka-Laylee and the Impossible Lair. I don't know how I keep screwing that game up, but my wife and I are playing that one. That's our game that we play together. I think we're on chapter 18 or 19 of that one. And then the other one that we're actually playing together now is Ring Fit Adventure. So you've probably heard that on a few episodes recently. Dude, that game kicks your ass. It seriously does, man.
You can't even tell anyone who's not experienced any type of exercise in video games. They're like, oh yeah, you move around a bit, big deal. You obviously don't exercise. I've done the exercising on the Kinect and stuff. And even the games that aren't exercise games, adventure and shit, that stuff kicks your ass. My wife has been trying to work out more lately, and she joined a program and all this other stuff. And then she remembered the Kinect workout games that we have, and she's like, hey, can you hook up the 360 in the living room so I could kind of do that a little bit on my off days from the other one? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, absolutely. And she's like, that kicks my ass more than this official workout program. So that's saying something.
Yeah, like this Ring Fit Adventure is like seriously straight up CrossFit for the most part. I mean, you're not obviously doing like bench pressing or lifting weights of any nature. You've got more resistance training going on. But, you know, what people understand is like the types of workouts that we're doing in here, planks and squats and yoga poses and running in place and, you know, pressing in on the ring band, like all these different things. These are all things that are like for helping tone your body as well as losing weight. So we're enjoying it as long as we keep a healthy diet and keep doing this. I think we're on day 20 was today, and we're only on like world 5. There's like 20 worlds total. There's tons of mini games involved. Some of the worlds have like quests that we have to go back and do. Like there's a lot going on. So
step up and beat it in one day, bro.
Yeah, that would never happen. Would die, man. It's like after 15 minutes is like, have you had enough? And I'm like, yes, I've had enough.
You'd be part of an article we could cover in one of the podcasts. Like, man goes to hospital playing too much Nintendo Ring Fit.
Actually, that wouldn't be bad. We can even like plug in all of our podcast, you know, names and such on there. Speaking of which, before we get into what you're currently playing, man. So if you're just catching us now, you can catch the Game Deflators podcast on Podcast Addict, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, really anywhere podcasts are found. And then you can also find us on social media at Game Deflators, at Twitter, and at Game Deflators on Twitter. It's late, dude. It's like 12:30 while we're recording. So at Twitter is at Game Deflators, and then Instagram, Facebook, it's at The Game Deflators. We also just launched our website recently, which is thegamedeflators.com. So
check it out. It's awesome.
Dude, I'm pretty impressed with what I've done in the last few days on that website.
Yeah, man. Pat yourself on the back. It's professional looking.
Yeah, it's pretty solid. So patting myself on the back now. All right. So what are you currently playing before we get into our news articles for the week?
Well, currently I'm playing Sakura Wars on the PS4. I picked it up a bit. I put it down to play Last of Us Remastered and Left Behind before Last of Us 2. And now that I'm done that, I just finished playing Onimusha about 2 days ago. I decided to go with the remaster. And I righted a major wrong in my life by not checking that out sooner. It's been a game I've been interested in since the PS2. I have all of them. And I even made a video like I think 2 years ago about game series that I've always missed out on and what I plan to do about it. And apparently that wasn't even enough to light a fire under my ass to play this game. But on the Super Enabler Bros show, we do this thing called Backlog Roulette, where we take 38 games, put them on a list, and spin the roulette. And it it makes games going from, I've been meaning to try that, to, okay, play that right now. And it's really doing the job in enabling me to play some games that I don't even have an excuse for not playing. Just, other games, and I squirreled and went and played something new. So that was awesome.
I've got to do the backlog roulette myself, man. Like, we talked about this on your podcast too. You get to a point where you have so many damn games, you don't even know what to play anymore.
And I got a short list, and it always shuffles with new releases coming out. I'm like, I'll have a game that's like next up, but then all of a sudden there'll be like a good couple of weeks where a bunch of bangers come out, and you're like, I'm playing these right away. Screw everything else, like Last of Us 2 came out. You're like, I'm not playing anything else until I'm playing that. And then, stuff like that just kind of, gets in the way. And, before you know it, the short list is like, that was like the next up. And now it's like 10 back. So it just sounds like a corny gimmick, but honestly, I'm loving it. It's giving me a timeline to beat these games. We pick like 10-hour or less games, so you can, it's doable. And I keep playing the current stuff that I'm already planning on playing, and then that gets thrown in too. And I've been pretty good at beating them before the next episode. So glad to finally have checked out Onimusha. I don't know if the remaster is really any better than the PlayStation 2 or original Xbox versions are. A lot of the animations seem really twitchy. Honestly, I was like, is Michael J. Fox doing the mocap for this? Because look how he's shaking. Like, it's shaking like he's just drink 8 cups of coffee in some places.
Holy
like,
shit.
I noticed a lot of like his arms just shaking. I'm like, I don't know, man. So I kind of want to check out the PS2 version to see if like that's just leftover animation from that, because it didn't really look much sharper. But that's all I can really say against that game. It is awesome. If you haven't played Onimusha, definitely check it out. It's like Samurai Resident Evil, and Resident Evil. If you like Resident Evil, you'll love this. You don't have to worry about ammo because it's all swords and shit. So you just slash everybody. Oh.
So it's definitely a game that's been on my list for some time. I mean, obviously, I have a lot of PS2 games, and I've always wanted to play that particular series, but I just never got to it, man.
Yeah, definitely. I'm saying bump it up on the list. Like I figured I'd go with the remaster, figuring it might look a little nicer or something, but graphics don't make the game. And they didn't, I don't think they improved it very much. But I'm not saying it's a bad port. It was definitely doable, and might as well get some trophies out of it. So that was fun. Since then, what I'm playing right now, well, not currently, I'm doing a podcast, but I picked up Bloodstained Curse of the Moon 2, like the second it went up, and played a little bit last night, even though I was exhausted, and then I played a bit more during the day today, and I'd say I'm probably about a third of the way through it already.
Nice.
Love those. If you're not familiar with what that is, it's basically like Castlevania 3, NES style 8-bit game. The first one was a stretch goal for the Bloodstained Ritual of the Night Kickstarter, and it was so awesome that they decided to make a sequel, and I'm all about it. I love the Bloodstained games. If you haven't played those, put those at the top of your list too. Ritual of the Night was my game of the year last year. It was so awesome.
God,
so awesome that I bought it again on the Xbox One when I saw it go cheap at Walmart.
Oh, jeez. I've got to pick that one up still. I haven't done that yet. I do have Blasphemous on my list, though. So
Sweet.
I've heard some good stuff about that one, and it's definitely one I'm going to play.
I picked that up from Limited Run, and it's waiting in my little treasure trove gift pile at Church's house, so can't wait. Yeah, there's so much that like I'm gonna end up going across the border and coming back with like 60 games when I go on that trip. It's gonna be
Jeez,
great.
Man. So yeah, I ended up picking up my copy of Blasphemous at Best Buy. That was one of those that I purposely did not pick it up when it was on Limited Run, just because it was a game that was definitely going to get picked up by Best Buy. And it was labeled as that anyway. So when it came out, I just pre-ordered it through Best Buy, got it the next day, no issue. So
perfect. Yeah, I don't have that option around here. That's why I did it the way I do it. So I sometimes if I know it's like an open pre-order, I'll generally grab it. But if it's something that's like be on it this time or you're out of luck, and I know it's a popular enough game that it will sell out, I usually just toss him a couple bucks, and he's a bro about it. Doesn't mind, or if he does mind, he doesn't say it. So I'll keep pushing my luck.
Just make sure he doesn't hear this episode.
Oh, yeah.
All right, man. So any other things that you're playing right now?
Besides those two games, I'm a little bit all over the place. Besides the roulette, I'm kind of look at it at the wall and see something and go, you know what, that right now. Or I'll look in my, I'll be playing something else on the 360, and I'll be like, look at all these games I got downloaded on here. Back when I used to actually download stuff more often, and then I'll wait for a physical. Hearing that you're going after a bunch more 360 exclusives warms my heart, because that's my biggest collection. I just got my 550th physical 360 game, so
nice, man.
I fully support you exploring that library. It's so fun.
Yeah, so I'm trying to pick up any exclusives I can, obviously. I'm not going to get, like, crossover type stuff. It wouldn't make any sense. But, like, one of the other ones I picked up not too long ago was Operation Darkness. It was a loose disc copy at GameStop for, like, $5. And I was like, it's normally a $40 game. And you've seen my covers I've been printing recently. Like, they look almost, like the real thing. So
too good to be true.
Yeah, right? So, been printing out my own covers, popping on loose disc, GameStop games, and it's working out. All right, so this week we got 3 different articles. We could probably speed through a couple of these. A few of them we've talked about in recent episodes here. or really one of them. So we've got an article on a sealed copy of Mario Bros. That broke the purchase record at $114,000. We've got another. Not again, no. We have another article on God of War's creative director calling for higher prices in video games. And then the last article is via Metacritic changes to their review system. So we'll go into all of those. And then we can also, on that third article, we can kind of get your opinion on The Last of Us 2 and what you thought about it. So, all right, first one is by Nick Stat of The Verge, and this is that sealed copy of the Mario Bros. Going for $114K. For anybody that doesn't know and just thinks it's just Mario, this is kind of like one of those 1 year only type of prints. I think it had like a cardboard hang tag and some other stuff on it. It's a 9.4 out of 10 review or rating, or not even rating. Geez, I'm so tired right now.
Well,
9.4 out of 10 score.
They didn't even plastic wrap these either. They were sealed with a sticker, and that's one of the big tells with it from the test market copies. And that's like, so many of them were, opened or destroyed or whatever in the process. That's why it's so hard to come by when you're like, it's just Mario. It's one of the most high selling games of all time, but. Yeah, I don't know, man. It's back when Nintendo, because everyone was fearful to get video games in stores because of the big crash of the Atari, and Nintendo basically, put themselves out on a limb, like, okay, you take these in your store, we'll buy back any stock you don't sell, and that's when these copies went out. So it was that's why they're called test market copies. It's right when they were trying to break into the market. So that was a big gamble on their part.
Yeah, so super limited, obviously. It's not like there's a ton out there, to your point. Copies destroyed, copies taken out of market, out of circulation, boxes thrown out. So there's not a lot of these out in the market, so it makes sense. But at the same time, man, it's flipping Mario.
It's not even the best version. Like, there's no Duck Hunt on it even.
Yeah, so or track and field. Yeah, so... Right. Yeah, I mean, you're looking at 114,000. Like, I know some people have that type of money to throw around and do this type of stuff, but at the end of the day, like, if I had a few $1 million and I had the option of spending $114,000 on Mario or putting $114,000 on a couple houses for down payment, you better believe I'm going to be getting the houses and down payments done.
I don't care if I'm Jeff Bezos, man. I'm still going to be like, nah, I'm good. I got that, and I'm going to play it. Like, it's not even a show-off piece. Like, I'd be ashamed spending that amount of money on a game.
Yeah, it's like somebody looks at it and goes, oh, it's Mario in a box.
I could buy either the entire NES library or just this one copy of the most popular game.
And like one of the highest printed games.
Yeah, right. You could get you could get just about anything short of the Nintendo World Championship cart and have the full library for the same price. So
I think we're both in agreement here. Like, it's too much money to do something like that. Like,
inflated.
100% inflated. You should not spend $114,000 on a copy of Mario Bros.
Yeah, that shit's popping. It's so inflated, man. That's overinflated.
Oh, 100% overinflated.
Bloated.
Okay. Let's jump into our next article. I mean, we're gonna have a lot of people talking about that one, I'm sure, on social media. We'll put some links up on our different social media handles, and we'll see how it goes. The next thing here, man, so I talked about this with Ryan a little bit last week, but God of War's creative director calling for higher prices in video games, or really a price hike. This is by Dipanjan J of Essentially Sports. So that is the most random website I could have found to have an article on video games, but
what are you doing on there?
It was I don't know, man. I just found it randomly. I had seen a couple articles pop up recently, or really in the last day or so about this, and I just happened to pull this one up. But essentially, he's talking about how a creative director made a post recently on, I think it was Twitter, stating that video games should get a price hike, and people should essentially pay up front. It'd be better to pay up front than having to pay all these crazy microtransactions that really just ruin games. And so, to his point, it's like, pay $70 and get a game with everything you want now, or pay $60 and $20 later on down the road in downloadable content.
Yeah, I'd rather have it. You know what? I don't mind paying more for a game if I know I'm getting all that they have planned. You know, sometimes I wait for those complete editions like I did with Mortal Kombat 11. But if it's, you know, I mean, I get it. Costs more to develop. Everything's going up, you know. But it going up to $70 US, I'm in Canada. That's going to be like $90. And that looks a lot worse. Especially, you know, with our dollar, it used to be pretty close to yours. So when your games were 50, ours were, you know, 60. You know, it's about $10 more.
Yeah.
But yeah, these are going to be like $95 to start, and that's a hard pill to swallow. It's, you know, it's gone up $20 this last gen, because you know, 360 PS3 era they were $60. This era they crept up from 70 to 80 pretty damn quick. So, you know, I'm hearing about the $10 every second generation from a couple people. I'm like, it kind of went $20 this last generation. And I was like, oh, I guess I'm not buying any new games anymore. I'll just wait a couple months and buy everything when it goes cheap on Amazon.
Well, and we had brought it up last week. You know, they've been prepping us for this for a long time, anyways. You know, with the collector's editions, the DLC, the gold editions, and the steelbook editions, and all this other stuff. Like, they've been testing the waters for quite a while now to kind of see what our thresholds are and what we'll purchase. And
they're trying to find the breaking point, and you know, it's getting close.
Yeah, it makes sense. So I think it was like 40 to 50 on PS1. PS2 stayed in that $50 range US. PS3, like you said, went up to 60. It stayed the same on PS4. So we were bound to get a price increase no matter what. Like, people were talking about it happening with PS4. It didn't, obviously. So it only makes sense to have it now. So I wouldn't anticipate when PS6 or whatever the hell comes out next generation it being, you know, $80 for a game, but you never know.
Yeah, I'm hoping they still have discs by then, because then, you know, you'll be buying collector's editions. They'll end up being like the PC collector's editions where you get all this cool stuff. Then you get the steelbook case and you open it up and it's got a cardboard disc with a code on it, and that's all you got.
Yeah, like, what's the point of that, man?
I don't know.
so stupid.
I constantly shame Church when he gets one of those. I'm like, well, what'd you expect getting that on PC? You know you're going to get a code by now, don't you? I don't think anything even comes on a disc anymore for PC. But I mean, you know, I'd rather get it for, you know, even if I was going to play something on PC and I knew it had like a PS4 or Xbox collector's edition, I would just get one of those and, you know, pay the probably cheaper price just to buy it on Steam. Wait a bit.
Yeah, totally agree with you, man. So yeah, when we talked about this last week, obviously this was more of a rumor, but, you know, with developers and creative directors and people, and obviously the whole 2K thing going on, you know, last week, it's become more of an inevitability, really, that these prices are going to go up. So, you know, I'm going to call it now.
I'm going to expect the quality to go up, though. Like, I don't mind paying more if I'm getting more. Like, but the microtransactions are going to have to be, you know, like, it's got to be one or the other for me. I'm not paying $10 more and getting $30 less because they got all the post-launch plans. You know, I don't know. It's gonna have to be worth it. You know, if I'm paying full price for a brand new game, I'm gonna be more choosy, just like I have been with, you know, things this gen. You know, I'll buy the games I gotta have right now, and then other games will be like, you know what, I'll wait a bit. And you know, Amazon's always got sales. That's where I pick up a lot of the newer stuff. I wait on some stuff I know I'm not going to get to for a couple months anyway, and by then I'm paying like half price, a third of the price. So
see, if you know, smart collectors really, or smarter collectors, wait a year or two into the generation, so that way they're always playing catch up. So like, I haven't played God of War yet, but I picked it up for $10. You know, Uncharted 4, I picked it up for $10. Lost Legacy, $10. So like, you know, you're picking up all these AAA titles that were sitting at $50-$60 for $10. You know, obviously games like Last of Us 2 come out and Ghost of Tsushima come out, and those are games that you're generally going to pay your premiere price for because you want to play them right away. But yeah, like the most of it, man, like I think I got my PS4 when the PS4 Pro came out. Like that's when I got my PS4. And so for me, it was like, cool, now I've got like this whole ton of a library that's sitting at like $10 to $8 a game for various titles that I can play at any point. So
that's how I always do too. I didn't get like a 360 until 2008. stuff like that. Like I waited a while. I usually wait 1.5 years, 2 years every console. I think the closest to launch I've ever bought in a console was the Switch. I got it just over a year after it came out. But PS5, I was so impressed by their showing of it that it might be my first launch or close to launch console. So
the only reason
the price
I get a
hike's
PS5
kind of worrying me in that point.
Yeah, I agree with you on
It's
that.
ugly as hell. I'm gonna have to put a bag over it, but you know.
The only reason a brown bag, by the way, the only reason I would ever buy a PS5 at launch would be to flip it in a local market.
Spidey man.
That too. Well, you know, there's some good games that are gonna be on that console. Like, I'm excited about it. I'm just not like $600 excited about it.
Yeah.
If that's the price point.
Yeah, we'll see. I've never even considered it, is what I'm saying. Like, but if all those games don't get pushed back like crazy, like I'll be getting it pretty close to launch.
Yeah.
If not, you know, I'll just ask for it for Christmas. So, you know, I'll wait a month.
Just ask Papa Church. He can pick it up.
Yeah, you can get 2 of them.
Yeah.
I already tried that. I don't think it's gonna work, but we'll see.
It doesn't. You got to get some blackmail on the guy.
Dig up
All right, man. So our next article here is on Metacritic changing their review system. So really what Metacritic has done is they haven't really done much. All they're essentially doing, and by the way, this is from Dinesh at Game Tweak. I keep reading this as Game Twerk for some reason, so it shows you where my mind is at. But
games get me twerking.
Yeah, games be twerking. So
I mean, I'll twerk to get a PS5. I don't give a shit.
Depends on where you're twerking, I guess. So basically all Metacritic has done is said, instead of allowing people to write crazy, terrible reviews an hour after a game has launched, we're going to have them wait 2 days. So if a game launches on June 17th, they will be able to create a review on June 19th. This is the first time they can do a review. What this does, obviously, is allows people to see critic reviews and allows them to get a feel for the game and play it before they see like crazy judgment for no reason and poor reviews. So the big reason behind this were 2 instances. You had Animal Crossing New Horizons got review bombed like hell, which I think is still sitting at like a 5.2 user score. And then obviously Last of Us 2 was the big one recently, hitting as low as like 3.0 on their scoring scale for users. And that one in general, it's ridiculous, man. Like the whole review bombing, cancel culture thing, major pet peeve of mine. I can't stand it. Like
bandwagoning. I can't stand the bandwagoning bullshit people do.
Yeah.
And anything, all these dumb challenges that people do, all these, you know, like, oh, this person I like doesn't like this thing, so I better be just, you know, a sheep and go with them and totally bash it too, even though I've never even cared to look into it whatsoever on my own. I just gotta be part of the crowd.
Like how butthurt do you have to be to make a negative review, put in spoiler posts on social media, cry about how much you don't like the game and how much it sucks when you haven't even played it? And you know, I've come across a lot of games in the past that, you know, I've been disappointed by. It hasn't been a game I enjoyed, right? But at no point did it ever cross my mind that I'm just going to be an asshole about it and review bomb on Metacritic or spoil it for other people that are going to enjoy the games. Like, if you think about it, like an average, if it's a 5-star average, that means somebody rated a 4, somebody rated a 6. It could be people rating it 8s and 9s. Like, you can't just say that you hate a game and you're going to put out spoilers when there's other people that could actively enjoy that game. It's so frustrating, man.
I don't know. I just, you know, that's what I got podcasts for. I'll tell you what I think of something off the cuff and be real about it, but I'm not going to go, you know, argue with someone else that liked something that I didn't like. Be like, cool, man, that's how you feel. I'm not going to be like, oh, worst thing I've ever played. Don't dare play it. I know that everything's not made for me. And a lot of people seem to think these days that a thing is made specifically for them, and if they don't like it, then it must not be good. If it's, you know, it'd be like me playing a sports game and being like, worst game ever. it could be the best one in that series, but it just might not be something I'm into.
Yeah, 100%, man. Like and sports games are a good example for sure. Like I love Madden games and NCAA football games and such. Like I've been playing them for years, and I'm not bad at them. I'm actually pretty decent. And there's a lot of people out there who say, "Oh, sports games suck." Well,
that's me.
You don't like sports.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm
not going like all these other people in these stadiums are wrong for liking sports. All the people that buy these games. I'm like, that's just cool, man. There's people like Gran Turismo. I don't like Gran Turismo, but I understand why other people do. I am a huge metal fan, and I don't like the majority of other music, but I understand why people don't like what I like, and I also understand, to an extent, mostly how people can like other types of music. It's just not everything's for you, and you just got to realize that. Just say not for me, not worst game ever, not worst thing ever. I'm a Canadian and I hate hockey. Guess how that goes for me? People are like, how? You're Canadian? Like it's like renouncing my country by not liking hockey. I hate hockey.
It's okay. So here's the thing. I love hockey. So all you got to tell your Canadian friends is there's a guy down in Arizona that absolutely loves hockey. It makes up for the fact that I don't like it.
Yeah. We're going to trade places.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need some of that dry heat. All we got is humid heat here too. So.
Oh yeah. I can't do humid heat anymore. So obviously the big thing here was Last of Us 2, and that was the major reason for the shift. And you actually just beat Last of Us 2. I did a review, I think it was 2 episodes ago. I did a review on our podcast on Last of Us 2, filled with tons of spoilers. So I hope you didn't catch that episode.
I skipped ahead. It was kind of a bummer. I actually re-listened to the rest of that episode after I beat it, but I just kind of skipped ahead until I would stop and hear a word or two and be like, oh, they're still talking about it.
I put a warning, dude. I put a warning in the description. It said 18 minutes.
Oh, I know, but it was on my app. It just came up in my app, and you're like, oh, you were just saying we're going into spoilers. You didn't just dive in.
Yeah.
So I was just like, okay, I'll just skip till they're not talking about it at all.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then I found the end of it, and I went, all right, I gotta go back a little bit. So but I went back. It wasn't anything on you. I was just driving. I couldn't really.
Oh, I gotcha.
Look for a timestamp. Actually, the last Game Tenants, we talked a bit about it, and we had to I made him put in a timestamp, and he rolled his eyes because he's like, "Oh, now you're making me do work." Because we're bare minimum of editing. We usually, do one go, and usually don't have much to cut out. So we benefit from that a bit, but.
Yeah, we do quite a bit of editing on ours. Nothing crazy. It's more on audio quality than anything else. And then occasionally, if we say something that we didn't mean to say, we'll cut it out. Like this one, I'm going to probably keep as is because, it's almost 1 o'clock in the morning here and 3 o'clock in the morning your time. So we're pretty tired and delirious anyways while recording. So
hopefully
it's going to be
hopefully it doesn't sound good to us right now. And then you listen to it tomorrow and you're like, we sound like we're both drunk.
Hey, what else do we do in the Game Deflators podcast?
Yeah, there we go.
So what are your thoughts on Last of Us 2, man? I'm interested to hear what your take is on it.
It's one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. The ridiculous attention to detail really didn't go unnoticed by me. The little tiny details that they didn't even need to do that. Most people won't even realize that. Is what I really appreciated about it. I don't know, just the little subtle things that you just go off in a room and be like, wow, look at this. You believe it was lived in. It's not just assets plopped in that you've seen all throughout the game. It's like they made this just for this room kind of stuff. And I really get into stuff like that. And I mentioned it on our podcast too, it reminds me of those documentaries that you see where they had something called After People or something like that, and it would show what a city would look like if we just all vanished. It'd be 5 years on, 10 years on, and you would just see this is when stuff would start to crumble. This is when you wouldn't even see roads. It would just be grass. And it reminded me of when people do that urban exploration where they just go into abandoned buildings and stuff. And I always love that aesthetic of stuff. Post-apocalyptic stuff is my jam too, but this was more realistic, not Mad Max style post-apocalyptic, like Fallout kind of Rage kind of is. So I really appreciate the aesthetic of this. The characters were all pretty cool in this one. I liked the story for the most part. I avoided spoilers until I played it, which was actually a lot easier than I thought it was going to be, especially when I heard about all the complaints, and I just ignored the complaints. I actually had to ask Church on our episode, like, oh yeah, so what were people complaining about? Because I fully avoided everything about it. I generally do when I'm already sold on a game. I just go media blackout on everything. I see it mentioned, and unless it's someone just like, I'm excited for this, I go, okay, cool. Like that, and then just keep going. But if it's anything up in details, I just avoid it until I get to play it. So I jump in. I don't even like seeing gameplay on stuff. Like, I'll watch like a couple early on trailers, and if it looks cool and I'm sold, then I'm sold. I'm already buying it. Nothing swaying my thing unless I hear unanimous terrible things from people I respect, people I know. Like, dude, yeah, definitely don't get this. I'd be like, I'll look into it and maybe watch another trailer or see what they're talking about. But generally that doesn't happen. So
what did you think about the overall plot point though? So like the character death in the beginning, and
I saw that coming, but not exactly like when it was going to happen. I knew at the end of the last one. And when I heard there was a new one, I was like, this one's going to be all about people coming for Joel. And, someone's left and they're going to come after him. It happened a little bit differently than I saw it coming, and a little bit earlier. But, I totally called it, but it was good. I felt it. And
what about Abby? What was your thought on her and getting to play that side of things?
I liked that twist at the beginning, and I'm like, oh, cool. I like that. It's a revenge story and all that. And then when you go to play as her, honestly, I wasn't enraged by it. You're made to hate this person, but then the whole point of this twist is like, hey, there's two sides to the story. And I totally got where she was coming from right away, because even though it doesn't reveal where she's coming from, I'm sure it's got something to do with the Fireflies. And it totally did. And I was, I had no problem playing her part. Her part honestly seemed to drag a little bit for me. I don't know if it's just going from playing the first one again and the DLC right into it. But by no fault of the developers, I liked the story. The flow of the story was fine. Just the act of doing things in between these story points kind of, I don't know, starting to get over it. Aside from the battle in the hospital, the big boss battle that kind of came out of nowhere, that was the most surprising gameplay wise to me. It was it played very much like the first one in almost every way. A lot of the weapons were almost exactly the same. When you play as Abby, you get a couple new weapons, so I was welcoming that. That was pretty cool. But overall, excellent game. I liked the gore. Some of the gore and like the key people you kill were pretty awesome. And I liked the little detail that like you kill a guy and they're like, "Oh no, Jimmy!" And I'm like, "Ha ha ha! You had a name." And I really,
you had a name.
I really liked that. That was one of the cool details to me. But I'm gonna have to give this game a 0 out of 10 because they missed one huge detail. So when you turn on your flashlight on The Last of Us Remastered, it does the little like a flashlight does. Turn on your flashlight on Last of Us 2, no sound from the controller.
But like, it's a shake light. So you hear your controller rattling to power up your flashlight.
No click though. Hopefully they patch that in.
Hopefully they patch it.
I'm just kidding. That's a small thing. I was like, oh. I just noticed it going right from one to the other. I was just like, oh,
I actually, so when I was playing it, whenever my light was going out, I'd shake my controller and it sounded like a shake light.
Your controller's broken, bro.
No, it isn't.
Kidding. No, I'm just kidding.
Get out of here.
So yeah, it was I liked it. Pretty much everything about it. There's that awkward sex scene was probably the part I disliked the most going through the whole thing. And the fact that she's so enraged by Joel's death, but like two of her other like close friends or other survivors like die right next to her, and she's got almost no reaction to them.
I think in that situation, so the Hispanic guy and his death, you know, I see that as in the heat of the moment type of situation. Like, she had to keep going. Like, there's no stopping at that point. Like, you've got to go. So there's that piece. I was actually kind of shocked to see who killed him, though. That was surprising to me. And then obviously her two friends, she was enraged, like she was pissed off, but I could see where she's like, fuck this. We're going to go finish this now. And then she leaves. So I totally get it. Like, I get the lack of rage that you see on screen. Or
just the lack of really even reaction. Like one of her best friends, like when the Asian guy just gets shot in the eye right out of the gate, and you're like, oh. And then she's almost like didn't even blink, like, oh yeah, he's dead.
I welcomed that one though.
There was no or nothing. Just like, oh yeah, I could not stand that character. Jesse. I could not stand him. So forced. Him and Dina were like two of the most forced characters I've ever, like, if there's one qualm I had, it would be the forcing of those two characters in the game. Like, nothing against them, like in general, like nothing against the fact that it's an Asian character, nothing against the lesbian component of it. It's all on the fact that it's two characters that I just didn't really care about, and I could see where people would be angry about that. So that was pretty much my main reason it would have got a 9 out of 10, was because that just seems super forced, and it didn't click. I didn't like it. Yeah, I really liked the kids that encounter Abby.
Yeah,
they
awesome.
were likable. They were likable. Apparently, one of the people were raging about like how the one kid is trans or whatever, and I was like, I didn't really even realize. That's how downplayed it is. It wasn't all like an in-your-face thing. People act like just something being included in a game is like, oh my god, they're pushing this agenda. And I'm like, I don't know. I thought it was a cool character.
I mean, I thought the entire way through it was a boy the whole time, and all of a sudden it was like, oh no, you know, I shaved my head and everything else, and you find out it's a girl, and you're like, oh snap, okay, like that's
all right,
cool.
Anyway, moving on with the story. Like, it didn't elicit a big reaction. You're just like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a bum 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 moment.
It's not like, okay, I'm throwing my controller into my TV and be like, I know my rights, and stop playing the game.
Flipping your coffee table. I just kept on living my life, and like that made the Abby part just a lot more likable. Like, like that's when you see like, oh yeah, she's a person. She's not just some crazy golfer. So I don't know. I liked all her parts, and I played this like little mini game in my head. I don't know if anybody else did this or not, but I would, anytime I came up to a door, I'd be like, is this locked? Before I go to unlock it or open it, because there's always like, it's like constant wrench in the gear. Like, no way this door just opens. I've obviously got to go around the back of this building and move a dumpster and climb in through a broken window and like go through this huge labyrinth to get to where the door is, even though I've got explosives, even though I've got a gun, I could shoot this lock off. We'll do all this other stuff.
Yeah. Climb a dumpster, jump into a building, fight off a few stalkers.
Yeah, I get it. It's all part of the gameplay, and I just kind of laughed it off. But it was just like pretty funny. Like, you could just kind of call it after a while. Became like a bad wrestling storyline where you're like, oh yeah, I know what's coming up. Are you really gonna try and open this front door? The front door is always locked. So, and as far as the story went, where it went to the farm and all this stuff, I thought that was cool. I knew that wasn't the ending, but I was kind of hoping that would be the ending. Even though, I don't want anyone to get the wrong impression. I really enjoyed it. But when she goes to, go on her second revenge run, like, nah, gotta finish it. I'm like, what are you, Master Chief? Gotta finish the fight here? And I'm like, why are you going? You're not gonna kill her. Like, I just called it right there. You're not gonna kill her. You're gonna find her. You're probably gonna beat her up or something, but you're gonna find a common thing. Like, you'll have to work together to survive, or you'll go your separate ways, or somehow you'll become friends or something. Like she'll take a bullet for you. I was like, I know she's not killing her. I know she's not.
Yeah, I was thinking, like, is this the scene that everybody's going to be frustrated about? Like, is this where, they kiss and everything and people go up in arms about it?
I
like,
hate that you killed Joe, but I love you that you killed Joe.
Yeah.
So, that would have been a dumb ending. But yeah, the biggest bummer at the end to me was just that she couldn't rip on that guitar because she only had 3 fingers.
Yeah.
Or a thumb and 2 fingers. So I was like, is this the sad, morose ending that I was been waiting for? So yeah, that's all she really accomplished by going on that last bit. It was just, I guess I'll just lose a couple fingers.
And never be able to play guitar again. Yeah. Well, either way, man, I enjoyed the game. You enjoyed the game. A lot of people are enjoying the game. Metacritic user scores are going up for it as well. I think it's at like 5.4, 5.5 now. So it's definitely, it's enjoyable. So I think the moral of this article that we were discussing initially is, this is supposed to discourage review bombing down the road. Hopefully it does its job, and hopefully we don't have poor user scores for no reason, which obviously changes the mindset of individuals that may not look into it too closely, such as why those reviews are bad.
Well, yeah, especially when something's review bombed like this, and it's generally, if you're someone who's going to be checking the Metacritic score, you're going to also be on sites that, declare like, oh, this is getting review bombed, and you'd be like, oh, is it warranted, or is it because someone doesn't like a particular part of the game? So yeah, that's why I generally don't go by reviews in general. If one of my friends tells me check this game out, that's better than a 10 out of 10 review on a site. Like I don't know what this person likes besides me. They might like games that I hate. Mm-hmm. They might be like recommending this game, and I'm like, wow, that was the worst game I've ever played. I hated that beginning to end. Yep. And then that same person could be like, do not play this, avoid it. And I'd be like, that was my favorite game last gen. What are you talking about? So
yeah, for sure. Always go with your instincts.
Take everything with a grain of salt, especially on the internet. Like I said, personal reviews from people I know I take over, professionals that are like paid to play games, and it might not even be the style of game they like.
Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. Well, speaking of reviews, man, we've got an inflation deflation this week, so
hell yeah, we do.
Yeah, so this was actually pretty cool. We went ahead and did Contra III. I think it's only on the SNES. I don't believe there's any other versions out there. But this one was
the collection. The Contra collection is about the only thing.
Yeah,
you
true.
Get digitally a couple other things, but that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and so this is developed by Konami, published by Konami, designed by Nobuya Nakazato, and it was released in February of 1992, and it's a run and gun shooter game, of course. Now, the one thing I did notice here is I don't think you could put in a Konami code for this game on single player in the US version. I know Japan you can't, but I don't think you could do it for the American release or North American release.
Well, damn. I didn't even try, but yeah. I don't know. I never really looked into it.
I tried. It wasn't happening. It just kept landing on 2 players and giving me 3 lives. So, yeah.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, I might be an idiot and I put it in wrong, but I could not get, any more than 3 lives. I can get infinite lives, 30 lives, whatever fun stuff comes of the Konami code. I did not get it. So, yeah. Either way. So, dude, we both played the game. I think you played it today, you said, or you've played in the past. I went ahead and played out the first 3 levels while I had a chance to. And it's a fun game, man. Like, this is a game that it's got great music. It's got great fluidity on the controls. Overall, it's a lot of fun. It's addicting. After every death or every continue, you're like, all right, I got to get back into this. I've got to, figure out what part do I jump? Who do I shoot? How am I ducking on certain areas? So I enjoyed it. Specifically, though, I enjoyed the top-down viewpoint, which is unique to this Contra game. Or not unique, but it was one of the first games that Contra-wise that had this. And it's a cool factor, man. Like, you go from like this run and gun side-scrolling type of atmosphere to a top-down run and gun where you're just shifting with your shoulder buttons and everything, destroying enemies and picking up weapons as you normally would. And, of course, the boss battle that's tied in on Stage 2 is like this crazy spider looking thing that honestly, I don't know how the hell you would beat this if it was in a side scroll type mode. Like, it makes sense to have it as a top down. So
Oh yeah, this game makes excellent use of the mode 7.
Yeah. And so overall, like, I enjoyed it. Like, I'm going to have to go back and finish it up at some point and, just play through it because it's a lot of fun, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's an instant classic. It's probably one, if not my favorite Contra game, the second favorite. It's a game that actually physically, for my Super Nintendo collection, for some reason it took me a while to get hold of. Without ordering it, I've come across more pricey games a lot easier, but this one took me a bit, and I had to kind of go out of my way to get it. But I played it a long time ago. I played it not so long ago, and I've always loved it, especially co-op. It's balls to the wall all the time, and they change it up. It seems like almost every level there's something different and crazy that you haven't seen before in a Contra game. So this is a true evolution, not just in graphics, but just in the things you can do. And I've always loved this one. I've never actually beat it, so playing this again tonight made me go, okay, it's on now. I'm gonna have to beat this game sooner rather
for sure.
than later.
So reception wise, this had pretty good reviews from critics and users. Averages, if you're doing a 1 to 100 scale, were 90 plus on the averages for those. I think Famitsu was actually the lowest score from a critic standpoint. It was like 28 out of 40, which is kind of absurd.
They probably just weren't good at it. They just died and got mad and were like, all right, I'm reviewing it right now while I'm mad.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. So yeah, man, positive reviews across the board. We need to take out Famitsu. You've got a positive review of it. I have a positive review of it, and I'm sure other users out there would truly enjoy this game as well.
Yeah,
so
it's peak Contra, honestly. It's it's got the tightest controls. And how many games really use the shoulder buttons on the Super Nintendo, like, for more than just like a switch items or jump in Mario Kart? That's it. Most games like could have used it and they just acted like they weren't even there. Some games where you're like, the most convoluted controls, you're like, make use of these bumpers, it would be 10 times better. Some games that suck would be better if they'd actually just use those.
Yeah, the effectiveness of the shoulder buttons in this game is better than a lot of games that have played on the SNES. So I definitely think they did a great job overall of the overall button configuration on this title. And it's, as I said, it's super fluid, easy to play, your point, tight controls. It's just a good game. I mean, it really is. So brass tacks wise on this, the most expensive version of Contra 3 is going to be the not for resale version, of course. That sits at $120. The cheapest version is the SNES version, which is sitting at $35.44. Complete in box, this is going to run you around $126, with it peaking back in August of last year at $130.94, and it's trending up in terms of price point. From a loose price point standpoint, we're looking, obviously, as I'd said, $35.44, and that peaked in May of 2016 at $48.78, which is ironically when I picked it up for about $3, and that price is staying kind of steady nowadays.
Awesome. Yeah, when I picked it up, I got it for really cheap too, but then it seemed like after I got it, I think I ended up picking it up 2 other times. I was like, come on, man.
Yeah, I've probably picked it up like 4 or 5 times since then, and of course I've sold them, when they've come through, or I've traded them for something else. But
I love my trade.
Isn't it crazy, man? Like, after you pick up a game, you start coming across like multiple times after that.
Yeah. After you want it, especially, it's the worst when you like, oh, fine, I'll shell out. You'll find it for a decent price, but then you'll buy it and then you'll get it in the next lot you buy.
Yeah.
And you're like, cool. So I got it for like $2 this time, but I just spent $30 on it, or whatever,
Well, the benefit down the road is like if you pick up a lot, and something like this is sitting there, you're like, all right, cool. Like, I don't have to keep that one now because I already own it, so I can.
Yeah. And you can trade up if the sticker might be in better shape, but it's
yeah,
generally a bummer. It's always a good trader. Usually, if you go out of your way to get it, it's a good game, but is what it is.
Yeah. So, you know how this works, man. We look at the price point, we understand what we reviewed it on, and we say if the $35.44 price point is inflated, deflated, or just right. So, in your opinion, are you spending if you don't have this, right, and it's something you're looking to play, are you spending $35.44 on this game? Do you think it's worth it?
Coming from a collector standpoint, 35, fair price, I'd say. So I'd say even on that. There are cheaper things, you know, if you don't care, you just want to play it, get that Contra collection. It's on all the current gen consoles. Like, I think even Switch has it in the Contra collection, and I think that's about $20. So you can't go wrong with that. It's got a whole heap of them, and it's also on the Super Nintendo Mini, which is I think how you played it this time, right?
That's how I played it.
Yeah. So there are cheaper ways to play it, but if you want it in your collection, it's a must-have, I'd say, for the Super Nintendo library. Like, it's one you're going to pop in again. It's not just one you're going to have and be like, check out what I got, and never touch it. So,
sweet.
I think it's fair. What do you think?
Yeah, I would say the price is just right as well. So I wouldn't pay any more than $35. When you look at, you know, and if you got it for $30, it'd be a steal at that point. But when you start looking at pricing back in like 2016, right, sitting at nearly $50 for this game, and 4 years down the road you're seeing it, you know, almost $15 less. That's not a bad deal, in all honesty, from a, you know, a SNES game of that caliber. So yeah, I'd say 35 is a fair price point. If you found it cheaper, you're doing yourself a good deal.
Especially now with the COVID prices, everything's going up. If you can get it for 35, you're still doing pretty good. As always, try to get it cheaper, but you know, if you want it that bad and you gotta have it in the collection, I understand those feels. I think 35 is a decent price.
Sounds good, man. So this week, obviously, the game is going to be listed as just right on the price point. It's not really inflated, not really deflated. We got that balloon there pumped just the way it needs to be. So
don't go paying $114,000 for Mario though. That's a bonus inflated price.
Yeah, that's our inflated game of the week. Mario Bros for $114,000. So, dude, I appreciate you coming on the episode this week. Ryan
Absolutely.
will obviously be on the next week. We'll see what happens. And hopefully we cover Rodea Sky Soldier finally. That was on our list to cover for this week. But, yeah, Contra sounded pretty awesome.
I own it, but I didn't have enough time to really give it a good go. So figured we'd do something I have a little bit of experience in already. Cheat a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, Ryan was tonight, looking forward to playing that one. So
yeah, I'll play it again this week just so I can understand the conversation more. You know, give me an excuse to play it, kind of like a backlog roulette situation.
Mm-hmm.
Pick it up. I've always heard the Wii version is the better, and it comes with both. So I'll give them both a shake. Yeah,
I got the Wii U copy here in the house, so that's what we're gonna play it on. And
Did yours come with the extra disc?
I don't know. I think it did. I think it's still sealed, actually.
Okay, then yeah, it should. I don't think they did like another printing where it didn't. I don't think it's a Bayonetta 2 situation.
Gotcha.
But, yeah, so you should have both in there. Maybe give them both a fair try.
Yeah, that makes sense, man.
I'm not going to tell you how to do it, but I recommend that.
I will double check. All right, man. Well, that really concludes our episode. We'll be back next week. We'll see if we can finally get to playing some Rodea. And again, man, I appreciate you being on the episode. One last time, though, let people know where you're at and what podcast you're doing.
All right. I'm at Corpse Flood Gaming on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And you can hear me on the Game Deflators Podcast, as I said, on the Game Grinder channel or any podcast apps, and Super Enabler Bros show on my YouTube channel. Pretty soon we're going to actually start uploading them on the podcast apps as well. We were just kind of getting our footing, seeing what we could do, and we're going to keep going with it. So I'll actually put those up for listening. I think you benefit from watching, but to each their own. And besides that, I'm just playing games.
Sounds good, man.
So yeah,
destroyer of games. And of course, at the Game Deflators Podcast, you can find us at thegamedeflators.com. Of course, on social media, Facebook is at the Game Deflators, as well as Instagram. And then on Twitter, we are at Game Deflators. And find our podcast on all podcast applications as well. Podcast Addict, Spotify, iTunes, anywhere podcasts are found, we're on there. And of course, leave a 5-star review. We'd prefer 6, but we understand 5.
Sweet. Well, just sign in, or you could do a 10-star review and just sign in under 2 accounts and do 2 5 stars.
That is also acceptable. Just make sure to leave a positive review.
Yeah, and check that website. It's mint.
Yeah, man, I'm enjoying it. I got some more editing to do, so we'll see how it goes. This has been episode 88 of the Game Deflators Podcast. My name's John.
I'm Jason.
And thanks for listening.